about is the Cornermen Radio Live with BARZINI and BOXINGEYE. Well, Boxing Scene just announced it that Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter is official at the Barclays Center, August 25th. It's finally happening. We have seen Shawn Porter call out Danny for 3 years ago. Like, he's wanted the Danny fight for so long. He finally got his wish. I think Shawn Porter ain't fought in 9 months when August comes, if I'm not mistaken, because he last fought in November. My math could be wrong. Hey, I'm not trying to be a math whiz today, but yes. So I'm glad these guys are finally facing each other. Now, the perfect thing is I want to see Danny. I've never seen Danny fight on his back feet for 12 rounds. I've seen it in here and there rounds, but I've never seen it for 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I wanna see Shawn Porter can pull off that bully style against Danny. I want to see how he looks. You know what I mean? Robert Guerrero was just done, in my opinion. He did come forward, but it was, to me, he was just a done fighter. No disrespect to Robert Guerrero either. But Danny Garcia, the great thing about Danny is we saw Shawn Porter get dropped by Adrian Broner, and Danny got more power than Adrian Broner. And he's a much better counter puncher than Broner. He let his hands go a little bit more than Broner as well. And he's sharp when he let his hands go. So, you know what I mean? It is a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, the judges might want to favor Danny because he might have the accurate, sharper shots. You know what I mean? Porter is going to look smothered. The best I've ever seen Porter ever in my whole life, it was against Paulie and Adrian Granados. You know what I mean? Even that, he was on his back. Porter was on his back feet on the last couple rounds. So, but I got money on Shawn Porter. I feel like they gotta give Shawn Porter because if Danny wins, who telling what Danny gonna do with that belt, man? He might wait for Keith Thurman. If Broner said he retired, I don't believe him. If he does somehow fight Jesse Vargas in a rematch, the WBC said they will be the mandatory for that winner.
But fuck all that shit right now.
I see Danny wanting that fight. But the greatest thing about this matchup is Kenny Porter and Angel Garcia, man. That's the fucking showdown I want to see. That press conference, that weigh-in, the whole dramatics of that fight, man. I got to tune in for that. That shit is going to be a show. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait. Well, what you got on this one?
Man, I'm hyped, man. This the fucking best matchup right now at 147. Because all that other shit that everybody trying to hype up, we know is not happening no time soon. We got this fight now. I don't care what they do after the fight. You know what I mean? We can talk about that after the fight. But styles make fights exciting fights. Two good 147-pounders with a lot of experience. Danny's been in there. I mean, how much more experience can you get than Danny Garcia? Been in there with Matisse. We've seen what he did. Learning experience against Lamont Peterson. To this day, I always believe Lamont, in my eyes, won the fight, but, you know, it is what it is because I believe Danny learned a lot in that fight. That's going to help him out in the Porter fight because the way Lamont, whatever happened, whatever game plan they had, but Lamont, his ability to end that fight the way he did in the last 6 rounds was unbelievable, how he was chopping Danny down to the body. And Danny cannot, and Danny, you go, if you ever box and that happens to you, you're gonna do whatever you can. You know that happened to you before. You're gonna do the best you can training, and you ain't gonna let that happen to you. Because stylistically, people probably gonna look at, hey, look what Lamont did in the last 6 rounds of that fight. Porter can do that. but you also have to weigh into your equation. Danny learned a lesson. He's capable of not letting that happen again. So you are, and then also Danny and his father are going to look at the Kell Brook success that Brook had with the 1-2. So Danny is going to have to get his 1-2 as sharp as a razor blade for this fight. Cutting up, you know what I mean? He's going to have to cut Porter up with that 1-2. It is what it is. And then eventually, you know, do some little feints, right, left, and get that left hook where it needs to be. The step back, bang, left hook, step back, you know, because we know Porter's Porter's one speed. He can't switch it up. If you get Porter boxing, he's going to lose, man. The only time I seen Porter boxing was when he fought when Thurman backed out the first time and he was boxing, what's his name, on Facebook. I happened to tune in and I'm like, this guy Porter's actually trying to box, and he was doing good, but it was against, I forgot who that guy was, but Porter's coming forward, ugly, rough it up. That's what he's going to try to beat Danny, rough him up, and Danny's going to land the sharper, cleaner shots, I'm telling you. But, yeah, Porter's going to win rounds, outworking him here and there. Danny's going to take rounds off. But I think Danny's going – I'm slightly favoring Danny. I respect Porter. I love his hard work ethic, what he brings to the table, and he could definitely take this fight, and he could definitely outwork Danny 8-4, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I feel like Danny's experience and everything he's gone through, he ain't gonna he's gonna surprise people like he did with the Matisse fight. He didn't surprise. I picked him against Matisse. I know Porter's bigger than Matisse, but you're gonna see Danny just much more effective, cleaner shots, stylistically, you know. And look what he did against like Rios. He didn't show. He let Rios, like he probably. The way he was fighting Rios, people would probably pick Porter. But he was being in the Rios fight, he was just chilling. You could tell, like, he was chilling. He's going to pull out a lot more tricks out of his bag against Porter than he would need to against Rios. So he was looking for that shot against Rios. Got him. You know, Porter better be careful because Porter's not as cerebral. You know, he's just like, you know, I got to outwork him. You know, his motor is just like that. Danny's a little bit more cerebral and sneaky. So I'm going to give it to the sneaky fighter all the time, and I got to give it to Danny in this fight, being the sneakier guy. So in a close fight, in a fun fight, I like the fight. I can't wait. I'm hoping to be there. But that's what I got in that fight, and looking forward to it.
The co-main event is Adam Kownacki and Charles Martin also on this card as well. Yep. What's your take on that matchup?
Interesting matchup. Kownacki's slow as shit, but he got power, so it'll be interesting. Martin, he's a little sneaky, but he's been out for so fucking long. I know he's been fighting, you know, subpar competition. It's do or die for him. If he can't beat Kownacki, I mean, I don't think he'll ever get another chance. So, and it's a step up for Adam Kownacki, but it'll be interesting because he might be he's just slow though, and he eats mad shots. He eats crazy shots, but it's like, he's a zombie in there. He just keeps coming with a zombie with some power in that right hand. So is Kownacki a fucking threat? Nah, but you never know. He's one of those guys that can get lucky and catch someone with a shot and they're just lights out. And I think that's what he's, you know, some people say, oh, it's not luck. You know, he got natural power. But that's why I'll pick him against Charles Martin. I think he will eventually he'll be getting touched up. If Martin can't hurt him, which I haven't seen Kownacki get hurt. That's the weird thing. I see him getting fucked up, touched up and shit, bleeding, but he doesn't get hurt. So to me, it's all like Martin's at least got to hurt him. If Martin can't hurt him, then at some point in that play, it's going to be a wrap. Kownacki's going to drop him. Because we've seen, you know, Martin can get hurt. I'm sorry. You know, I know, you know, Joshua fight, whatever, but I just see Kownacki probably winning that fight. Maybe later on, maybe 9-10, Kownacki can catch him. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for that fight. Who you picking?
Man, I really don't know. To me, it's a 50-50 because I just can't. Now, we know Adam Kownacki has power, but he's only beat Arthur Spixa, and I can't really say much. And even Charles Martin, his biggest win was Glasikov or something. So, to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I root for Charles Martin. I don't know if he's going to pull it off. I don't know if Adam Kownacki is going to pull off it either. You know, most people might say Adam Kownacki because of his power and what Joshua did to Charles Martin. You know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? Charles Martin let a lot of people down with that fucking stupid stoppages on that fight. Like, he act like he didn't even want to continue. But anyways, I like the matchup, but I just don't know who's going.
It's not a bad undercard.
Nah, it's definitely not, man. I'm intrigued.
Heavyweight.
I think the winner should fight Luis Ortiz next. That would be a great thing. You know what I mean? See if the winner fight Luis Ortiz. But that's all I got for this card.